when to be a student and when to become a teacher. I had a really cool guy in my life that he joined this coaching program when I was in high school with Elliot Halse. And Elliot Halse was this big macho guy, still kind of is. His content took a weird direction a little while ago, and I haven't watched his video in years. But shout out to Elliot. You live the masculine experience of being 100% real and raw with whatever come up and what is true to you in that moment. So respect to you, my friend. But that being said, he joined his coaching program and he started posting on social media. And this was like years before, when I was in high school, social media was just like pictures at parties and, very different than what it is today, especially the intention behind it. But he started sharing more on social media. I said, hey, man, it's cool to see you doing this. Like, what inspired it? He's like, well, I've been a student for, he's a little bit older, like 5 to 6 years in spirituality and personal development. It's time for me to start giving and sharing with others. And I thought that was really cool because here's this guy, very relatable to me. Like, I'd been learning about personal development for quite a few years, and I was always scared to like share that with people. And as I started overcoming that fear, I noticed that I could have a really big impact in people's lives. Twofold. One, by living an authentic experience to me where I feel like I'm pursuing truth and what that means to me, and then sharing that with the world. And then twofold, by actually giving people advice and warranted advice. It's not unsolicited. It's like if people come to you and, people ultimately have problems, and sometimes they're just looking to be heard, especially with women. That's the case a lot of the time. They'll just be expressing problems that they have. They're not actually looking for solutions. They just want your attention and your energy to be put on it without doing the masculine thing, which is trying to solve all their problems. But sometimes they are looking for advice. They're at a crossroads, don't know which direction to take, don't know whether to enter or leave a relationship, don't know whether to quit their job and pursue something else. Like, these are all very real things that happen all the time on a regular basis. But what happens when you start working on yourself and you start learning to trust intuition and you start hearing a lot of different opinions? That's the student mode. That's where you can really become an excellent student of life. And at some point, you're going to be presented opportunities to be the teacher. And that's something that myself and a lot of people, I think, actually shy away from. And the belief that I'm cultivating right now is it's absolutely selfish. It's absolutely selfish to not be sharing that with the world. Well, how is that selfish, Zuri? I just don't want to impose myself on other people, right? Whatever that voice is saying in your head. No, it's selfish for a few reasons. But the biggest one is you have experience. You don't need 10,000 hours in a specific topic to be considered an expert like all these people say. If you spend a few hours a week studying something or learning about something over the course of a few months, that's more content on that particular subject than the majority of people will ever come across. You are now not an authority, but you're now educated to have an opinion on something that you can share with people, as long as it's, a good opinion, which can be very subjective in today's day and age. But what happens is your experience, you can now help other people with that experience. So a big example for this is like I learned to, I was super emotionally unavailable, or not unavailable, out of whack with my emotions at a teenager year. I was dealing with things like depression, anxiety, fear, low self-esteem. All these things just plague teenagers. I think mine was a little bit worse than the average. But anyways, I was able to overcome that through things like joining a men's group in 2018, 2019 was very transformative. I learned how to understand my own emotions and become a little bit more empathetic with other people's. And through that empathy, cultivate a sort of like intuition on what that person needs to hear. And what's really cool about that is now this is like a gift that, it might not work 100% of the time, but the majority of the time, 9 out of 10 times, it's locked in. And the more that I lean into that, the more of a relationship I can kind of cultivate with that. And it's ultimately been a really transformative thing for a lot of people, is to be able to hold space in that help that person hear what they need to hear. And then ultimately that leads to a ripple effect of, as long as it was in tune and in alignment with what they wanted out of that experience, to cultivate a lot more peace, clarity, and confidence moving forward with their next step. And the reason I say this is you, in one way, shape, or form, even if you're just, a deadbeat playing video games, drinking beers, you have to be having conversations with people at some point to learn interesting things. And if you're not, and if you are being a deadbeat playing video games all day, drinking beer, smoking weed, not socializing and not networking to enhance your life, all right, just what are you doing on this video? Hopefully this is a wake-up call to get your shit together. And yeah, no guy should be living like that way. It's like absolutely, that is the wasted experience of life. And I've done that for a few years, so I'm speaking from experience. But the reason that I'm saying this is if you are not in a position to be teaching, then you're not learning enough. You're not applying yourself correctly. You are not maximizing your life experience, right? Like the unused mind is a wasted mind. If you're not learning how to creatively solve problems, if you're not actively putting yourself in positions that are uncomfortable so that you can actually grow, you're wasting your life. And that is, if that's okay with you, that's okay with you, but I don't think anybody is actually okay with wasting their life. And it's as simple as picking up a book. You don't even have to read these days. You can be read to with a freaking audiobook. That's what I do. Full disclosure, I got these books behind me. I haven't even started them, but I crush out an audiobook. I use a credit like a month, and it's absolutely incredible to get somebody's life experience condensed into 10 hours or less on any given topic. And the more that you do this, the more solid advice and the more resourceful of a person you're going to be able to be. And the more resourceful of a person you can be, the more good advice you can give, the more more people are going to want to be around you. More doors are going to be opened up to you, more opportunities. So it's like what you put in to your craft, and the more that you can put yourself in positions to share it, the more opportunities in life you're going to have to expand, to contribute, to evolve. So that's your duty. That's your task. If you're in your season of being a student, be a badass student. I wasn't a great student in school. I kind of skated by. I got some things I got A's in, some things I got C pluses in, but it's because it was boring. Like, find something that's interesting to you. Like for me, I love learning about personal development. I love learning about spirituality, mindset, charisma, networking, business, sales, leadership. Like all these things are just interesting to me. And the more that I learn about them, the more I retain, and the more that I can actually share that with other people. But more importantly, like live it out in my own life. Like test out things that work for you and things that don't work for you. There's books out there that will 100% not resonate. They 100% might not work for you. But then there's another teaching, there's another teacher, there's another lesson that is 100% palatable that you can digest and implement, and it just transforms the trajectory of your life. I've had that happen on a number of occasions. So get out there, be a good student. If you've been a student for long enough, start being a teacher. That could be sharing something on social media, put up a motivational post, put up a story, share your art with people, share your writing with people, start a newsletter, whatever it is that you want to do, right? Start taking lessons and start applying that. And the more that you do that, the more that you lean on that edge, the more your reality of life is just going to absolutely transform. It's going to absolutely transform for you and those around you that love you and care about you. You're going to inspire those people to want to bring their gifts to the world. So be a good teacher, be a better student, never stop being a student, never stop being a teacher. Know the place, intuitively feel that when is the time to be a teacher, when the time to be a student, but then also intuitively feel when it's just fear shying away from being a teacher. That's all I got for you today. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, do all that YouTube stuff. Appreciate you guys. Zuri out. Peace.